Good Lord. That was a nice little surprise.
Right.
I knew he was coming, but, I didn't know he was bringing her.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Everything just happens for a reason, man.
That's what I've heard.
Kind of like us. We just happen. Still don't know what the reason is.
Yeah, I haven't figured that one out yet. But hey, here we are.
Yeah. Episode 8.
Episode
Season
8.
2.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've been doing this for a while.
You're crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We're talking about Improv Pi.
Improv Pi. There
Yeah.
are many slices to Improv
This
Pi.
is going to confuse the shit out of people because they're going to look at that. They're going to go, oh, March 14th.
Right?
No. It's 3.14, like pi. Like pi r squared.
Yes.
Like
pi r squared.
Renaissance Rascals, r squared.
R squared.
See, there you go.
I like it.
There you go. That's the way that works.
That's beautiful.
Hello, friends.
Hello, friends.
I'm Rob.
I'm Keith.
And we are the Renaissance Rascals.
We are.
Or r squared.
R squared.
That's right. Because now we're going to talk about pi.
Pi.
Improv Pi.
Improv Pi.
R squared.
R squared.
There you go. So it's our own brand of improv.
We, funny enough,
Oh,
we
boy.
do have our own brand of improv.
We do. A lot of it is make it up as you go along.
Well,
which is the definition of improv.
Which is a big tenet of improv.
But I think the thing that we have to clear up right away is that it is not, what we do is not whose line is it anyway.
No.
We do more of the improvisational acting.
Yes.
Some of it's funny, but
there's
we're
a
not,
place for that.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking that. I like that show.
Yeah,
I really
it's just not what we do.
No, but what we do is more
What do we do?
improvised.
Yes.
So basically what the style of acting that we do is we just make shit up as we go along.
Yeah, generally.
Really what we're doing is we're reacting to the situation the way that our characters would react to the situation.
Yeah, we're more of a conversational improv. So depending on who
Up close improv.
Up close, yeah, definitely. So depending on who we talk to, and what the situation brings, depends on where, the conversation goes.
Sometimes we don't know where the hell that's going.
No. We tend to stay away from, or I should say,
Outright avoid.
we
We don't talk about Bruno.
no.
We don't talk about politics. We don't talk about, unless it's period politics, so like historical politics of,
Yeah.
of the Renaissance Festival.
Nothing Rob and I do is scripted.
Very rarely.
The only thing I would say that would be scripted is the beginning of an idea of where we
concept.
want to start.
Yeah.
But generally, everything after that is completely improv.
Like Mike Tyson says,
Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face.
There you go. And sometimes that punch in the face is an audience member's reaction.
Yeah.
You say something and it lands the wrong way.
Yeah, because as you grow in your improvisational skills, you tend to map out what you think someone's going to say, so you're trying to map out a response. And then there's curveballs,
Yeah.
and you're like, huh, nah, didn't see that coming.
Oh, look, they have a Confucius.
And so so that's where improv really comes into play. Is no matter what that person you're talking to says, you will have some sort of response.
I just realized
What'd you realize?
the left side of my beard, my little goatee here, is white. And looking at the camera,
It looks like
it looks like I am lopsided.
Yeah, well,
Like there's actually hair here, guys.
you
Like,
kind of
right
are.
here.
I mean,
Like this
Yeah.
right here, there's hair, but it doesn't look like it.
yes, and that's the problem with having
White hairs?
white hairs.
Yeah, I know.
See, improv, yes, and
Maybe I should dye.
what I did there.
I should dye that before the season.
Maybe.
But then again, I'm gonna have to keep on dyeing
Yes, because then it'd be like, oh, cheater.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a tangent.
that was a tangent.
Which is a pitfall of improv.
Which is a pitfall of improv.
Sometimes you get on these tangents where you are walking around out in the lanes of whatever festival you're working, and something catches your attention. This has happened to us quite a bit.
Yes.
And being able to turn around and pivot that back to whatever customer or patron you're talking with,
Yes.
that in itself is a skill.
Yeah, like the lady in the tree.
Which lady? Oh, is she still up there?
She's still up there, I think.
God.
Yeah, she's been up there a while.
We played this joke. So last year during rehearsals, they wanted to do this improv. I created this random woman up a tree.
Yes.
And it was rather funny because for the rest of the season, we would go by that very same tree that we were doing rehearsals at, and we would look up. Yep, she's still there.
Yeah.
And it was great because all it took was just that both of us looking up, and then there were customers looking with us.
They would stop and they'd be looking up the tree like, what are they looking at? And then we would just walk away and we wouldn't say anything. And there, we'd kind of turn around and look back, and there's like a crowd that had gathered like, what's up in the tree? What were they looking at?
The crowning achievement was like a couple of hours later, somebody goes, "Did you guys see what was in that tree?" And Keith and I just started laughing because we're like, "There's nothing in that tree."
There's nothing in the tree.
But what did you see?
The lady in the tree. She's still up there. But yeah, so improv is one of those things that if you're on cast or you do any kind of acting, whether it's dinner theater or for me, I do a lot of improv when I work my haunted houses.
Yeah.
Because I'm generally outside the house. I entertain people that are in the queue line for the house. So, depending on what the person's wearing, what they're who they're with, what they're doing, blah blah blah, it doesn't matter. I go up and I start the conversation with them, and here we go. I have no idea where this is going to go, which is the same as at fair. I don't know where they're going to go.
I would say that is the hardest part, is starting the conversation.
Yes.
And when you look at it, a lot of people that we've worked with, they have canned ways that they start
right
an interaction. I do it as well. One of my favorite bits that Keith lets me do is we'll walk around and we'll see people while we're at Larkspur, and they're looking at the map. They're trying to find a place. And I've done this at every festival that we've gone to, and it's hilarious because it knocks the borders down, knocks walls down instantaneously. Families looking at a map, and I will walk up to them and I'll say something to the effect of, a map's good and everything, but you really need a compass. It's kind of worthless without a compass because you don't know which way to move.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes it's just that moment where they'll look up from the map, they'll make eye contact with me, then they look over my shoulder, they see him, and he's just smiling with a big goofy grin on his face, and then we're off. But that is one of my canned ways into a conversation with a customer. So you can't use that with everyone because not everybody's looking at the map.
Yeah.
Maybe you're standing in line.
Yeah, depending on what line they're standing in,
yeah.
Whether it's a food line,
there's
line for the ATM,
no,
or...
there's only one line that really matters.
Well, for the Scotch eggs,
That's
yes.
right.
And those people know us well.
That's right.
Yeah, I've just walked up to people standing in line, and I'll walk up just right next to them and just stand there.
I think the funniest one
and
was
then
when you did that to
look
those
over
teenagers.
They just look over and they see me, and I'm just looking straight ahead, not... And then they just keep looking over, and finally I'll go, "Oh, hello." What are we waiting for? And they'll tell me, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, right. That's what this line is. Yeah."
That group of teenage girls that you hit
Yeah.
right by the coffee shop.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. They were like sitting there ignoring him until one of them, and one by one, they stopped talking, and it was like they were chattering, and then Keith goes up and stands next to him, and then the first one looks over. And then the next one looks over, and then the next one, and then so there was 5 of them, and then the final one's like, "What do you guys?" Oh, mean, he's a big dude, man. I mean, imagine these 5 teenage girls, and all of them are just kind of like looking up at him, and I'm just standing back watching because I don't, we know when we're invited into a scene, and he just turns around and looks. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you waiting in line? What are we waiting in line for? And the one girl goes, oh, we're getting a coffee. Oh, cool. You buying mine?
Yeah, I mean, and so that's, I do that a lot of, that's one of my big things I do at the haunted house. It's because, I'm all in costume,
Right.
So
Right.
I'm dripping blood or, whatever character I am that
start
particular
deep
night, is I'll just walk up to people, I'll just stand next to them. And then, it works great if it's like a couple,
Oh yeah.
because they kind of look over and finally I'll just glance over and like, oh. They're like, hi, what are we waiting for? And they're like, haunted house. And I'm like, oh, what? Are you kidding? I hate those. It's scary. And I start a conversation.
Meanwhile, you're dripping blood.
Or, I'll walk up. One of the best ones, especially if it's a couple, is I'll walk up and I'll stand next to the woman, and I'll be like, who's the guy? It's my husband or boyfriend or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, he's not going to make it.
And we've done that at festival, though.
Oh, yeah.
We've done that at festival.
Absolutely.
Except for the punchline is you could do better.
You could do better. So, but that's just it. The easiest way to start a conversation, just look at them and, talk to someone about their shoes, their clothes, at festival too, if someone is in costume, and they're wearing shorts, I like to walk up to, excuse me, my lord, what happened to the rest of your pants? No, these are shorts. Short pants? What happened to the rest of them, though?
It's called undergarments.
Yeah. Well, I bought them like this. What? Oh, no, it can't be.
I think the other one that I like is the Scots.
The Scots.
The guys in kilts.
Yeah.
Anytime we're standing out there waiting, because oftentimes what Keith and I will do is we position ourselves in places where there's high amount of traffic. And it just so happens that one of the highest points of traffic is when you're coming in the gates.
Yeah.
You're coming in from the parking lots. We're right there next to the motorcycle parking, and we're going to mess with you.
Everyone.
And every time somebody in a kilt walks by,
hey, Captain, look, it's another Scot.
Yay. And then remember, if it's not 9.5 yards,
it's a skirt. And so those two things either spark up a conversation or,
it gets a laugh.
It gets a laugh or it gets a weird look like, why are they saying that? And then someone explains it to them. The English don't like the Scots. Oh, yeah, I get it.
And then there's always the follow-up question, but what did I do to the China guy?
Nothing.
Nothing.
He's with me.
And I mean, so we do have some scripted lines that we do, but they roll off because we've been doing them for 2-3 years now.
Yeah.
That it's just second nature.
Easily workable. We just call those little bits.
Yep.
Yep. And those are kind of just canned responses that we have just to get a reaction out of someone. Yeah. But generally, if we go, oh, let's go talk to them, then we'll go, we'll go figure out something about that person. Excuse me, my lord, excuse me, my lady, and we'll ask our question, or, a lot of times if Rob and I decide we're going to do an act, mm-hmm. Be like, okay, oh, here we go. We're going to go over here. We're going to do something.
Usually it's, hey, follow my lead.
Yeah, and that's how it starts. Rob's like, hey, let's go this way. I'm like, okay. And he starts, and I've got to follow up,
yep.
Yep.
Which is one of the biggest principles of improv is some people simplify it into yes and.
Right.
However, you don't have to always agree as long as you are furthering the scene.
Yes.
So we can do things that are, as actors, we can do these things where it's like, okay, I'm going to disagree with him on something, but I'm going to provide an alternate to what he is proposing.
Right, like a perfect example of a yes and. You know, if we're starting a scene and I go, "Oh, Captain,
Aye, Cat.
hey, did you see that big dragon that was hovering around the castle earlier?"
Oh, you're talking about the one with the big horns?
Yes, that one. Oh, it was all black and red, and it was kind of ugly looking.
So you could also pivot that and go, "What? I didn't see the black. It was colorful. It was shimmering like rainbow."
Oh, well, yeah, of course. I mean, in certain lights, I suppose that would be.
Maybe it's because I see in wide vision, you see in standard.
Right. I'm thinking it's profiling.
This might be,
Okay.
but it's truth.
Well, it's true.
So
But
you can
just
see
something along
where,
those
where,
lines.
where now we've taken that yes and on the original.
Yeah.
He proposed to me, "Did you see the dragon?" I said yes, the one with the big horns. And he said, "Yeah, it was all this color." And then we pivot and go with no, but we're still furthering the scene by being able to bounce off more information. And then he says, "Oh, well, maybe it was just the light." And so we're still allowing the scene to continue. We're not doing a definitive end. A definitive end would be like,
Did you
say
see the dragon?
no.
Oh. All right then. That's a scene killer.
Now, I
That
could-
is no fun for anyone in the scene or out of the scene.
Nope. Everybody that's looking at it goes, "Oh, that was dumb."
That was dumb.
And the actors that did it are, "Oh, that was dumb."
That was dumb.
Now, conversely, you could go, "Did you see the dragon?" No.
No, but I did see a unicorn.
I wasn't looking in that direction, or I did see a
Right.
unicorn, or no, I'm sorry, I was enamored with this beauty that stands before us.
Right.
How could you be distracted by a fantastical beast when such a magical creature is in front of us?
Right. But you can't be looking at that and miss a dragon.
Oh, you blind man, look at her.
Well, I am looking at it, but I've seen a dragon.
I'm just looking. I'm sorry.
Right. Easily distracted, this one. Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay. Now, let's go look at that dragon.
Yes.
So again, you can have a way that you can continue it. There's more creative ways to reach out to the audience and drag them in. Sometimes when you say, "Have you seen that dragon?" someone will go, "No, where was it?" And depending on what type of audience member you're dealing with, if they're the more, "I have to see it, it has to be real,"
Yeah.
they're going to look at you and they're going to go, "Where? I don't see it." "It's right there by the tower." "You don't?" "Well, Robert, I'm not crazy, am I?"
Yeah.
You see it, right?"
Right.
"It's right there."
Yeah, the thing to keep in mind, too, is if you are bringing an audience member in, you definitely don't want to use closed questions.
Yes.
Open-ended questions,
Yes.
something they can't give just a yes or no to.
Yes.
So instead of saying, "Oh, dear patron, did you see the dragon?"
No.
Okay.
Where was it?
Yeah. I mean, so you want to ask a question like, "Oh, earlier in the day there was a dragon and people were screaming. It was horrible." "Yes, I know. Right. What is your favorite kind of dragon?"
I like the green ones.
"The greens. It happened to be a green one that they saw."
Really?
"Did you bring it with you?"
No.
"No. Well, how? But it's your favorite though."
It is, but I don't want to.
Manifestation is a real thing, you know.
Oh, so maybe I did make it.
Yeah, I think you did. All right, we found the one to blame. So you gave him you gave that person the opportunity to kind of expound a little. What is your favorite kind of dragon? Well, they have to have an answer. It can't be no. Well, you already said you like dragons. So, so you're planting those little seeds of getting the conversation to where it needs to go. And then we end the scene, then we're out.
But also, don't be afraid when they say that closed-ended no. Watch their facial expressions. They may just be saying no, but their face might be saying, "I want more."
Right.
So it's not just about what you're saying, it's also what you're seeing. As an actor, as an up-close actor, that is more immersive or interactive, if you will, you've got to pay attention to your body language, their body language, your speech, their responses, and the tonality of the whole scene. All while being mindful of everybody else around you.
Exactly. And especially if you're working with a partner, such as Rob and I.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I used the
Again,
term, I used the term work.
We're
loosely.
doing this again. All right.
Yeah. So you can start the conversation with a patron,
Yes.
and then if the conversation's maybe waning a little bit, then that's when
Throw a line.
I bring in my partner. Oh, Captain, glad you're here. Have you met so and so?
Now, it's very important to note: don't stand side by side if you're to use this.
Yes.
Most of the time, what I end up doing is when Keith will engage with a customer or a group of people, I will range the outskirts of that party so that it doesn't seem like we are directly attached at the hip.
True. It also depends on what kind of scene you're wanting to do. Mm-hmm. Is it going to be a targeting scene where it's just going to be you and this one patron that you're talking to? Mm-hmm. Or is it, as Rob and I often do, it's an audiencing scene.
We grab everybody.
We try to make the most commotion and chaos as possible.
Wait, what?
And yeah, we do.
Yeah, okay.
So we're now on a stage, so we separate ourselves, 6 to 8 feet apart, and we talk back and forth to each other, and we're trying to draw as much as the crowd in to our scene. So we'll grab, hey, oh yeah, you come here, and then everybody stop and look. Wait, what are these two idiots doing?
Yes.
Which is generally the reaction we
Yeah,
get.
yeah, that's right. Which something that if you noticed his hand movements, he did a circular motion. We create a circular stage, but we're not planted. We are constantly, I like to call it shark taking. So we're moving around, and we're basically in this weird dance with each other as we're grabbing people out to play. That is the important thing, is that you don't want to just orate to your audience unless that is what you're doing. Classic example of that is our town crier.
Yes.
He gathered, first off, the dude's loud. The bell's even louder.
He is so loud.
But he commands attention.
Yes.
And when he gets that attention, everybody standing around is automatically drawn to it. Now, what Keith and I do, we cause a commotion, but at the same point in time, we're grabbing people to continue the scene. Sometimes it's effective, sometimes it's not, but you got to have those outs, as we like to call them. Things that will naturally progress a scene to its end.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Well, so there's a lot of different ways to end a scene.
I got
yeah. One of the lines that one of our fellow cast members has is when the scene kind of reaches its natural conclusion, or he realizes it's not going anywhere, he just looks and goes, "Well, I gotta poop," and off he goes. Which is, that's definitely going to end a scene right there. But you try to not. I don't know. That's not something that I would do.
No, but there are so we have canned outs, and canned outs are like, oh, well, I have to be about the king's business.
Yeah.
Or, oh, I got to see a man about a pony.
Right. We try to limit. We try to limit our scenes or bits or whatever to 45 seconds, a minute and a half. Not too much longer after that, because
you guys get tired of us.
Yeah, the crowd generally, the people that you're gonna encounter, unless they're standing in a line, which now they've become my captive audience, which is why I love people in line. If they're just walking down the street, they're on their way to get somewhere. So they're not gonna want to stand around too long.
No, but that's
talking to
them.
you.
Yeah.
Because they're on their way to a show,
right?
They're on their way to get something to eat, meet somebody. So you've got probably a minute, before they're like, all right, well, I gotta go, So keep your bit short, keep them tight, get your point across, talk to the people, make your exit.
But again, depending on what type of interaction you're looking for, if you're looking more of that targeted reaction or targeted scene, instead of just letting them walk away, walk with them. That is, we had some really good success with that last year. A couple of people were like, "Oh, well, we're looking for Jacques Whipper," and rather than trying to explain because they were completely kerfuffled,
lost,
and instead of just pointing them in a direction, going, "You'll find it over that way," we actually escorted these people, which they found to be the coolest thing in the world, because we spent, what was that, like 5 minutes showing them the right way to go, and it gave those people that special feeling. At my normal job, one of the things that we're trained to do is don't just point them in the direction.
Yeah.
Actually escort them.
Yeah, show them.
Because they're a captive audience now.
Yeah.
You're showing them where they want to go.
And that's the thing is, Rob and I weren't even going that direct. We're coming from the opposite direction. But we're like, all right, well, we'll go that way, I mean, we're going to find something else to, someone else to talk to over that way. And then, one of the funniest bits last year was the pretzel bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So we saw this girl sitting on the planner, and Rob and I just started talking about the pretzel guy. Yeah.
I wanted a pretzel. That's what
wanted
it
a
really
pretzel.
started off as.
And so we start arguing about a pretzel, and so we saw her. She
looked like she was having a bad day.
Okay, so for Rob and I, and you guys can use this as well. If they make eye contact,
you own them.
They're mine.
You own them.
We've had a moment because we've locked eyes. Now you're invested in what we're doing, and that's what this girl did. She kind of looked up and was listening to Rob and I argue about this stupid pretzel, and so we just naturally we kept arguing. Made our way over to the planner, and I sat down on one side and Rob sat down on the other side, and we just continued arguing back and forth.
And it was semantics, and really it was pronunciation and the weirdness of a word.
Yeah.
And the word that we used to describe the pretzel was naughty.
Yeah, well, it's naughty.
That's why I said naughty.
Yeah, no, it's a naughty pretzel.
No, naughty, like a rope.
Right, you can be naughty with a rope.
And unfortunately, this poor young lass was stuck between the two of us.
Yeah, but
she was giggling to no end.
The best thing about it, and it was the whole thing that we tried to do, is her whole demeanor changed. So she went from looking like she was having a real bad day to absolutely just dying because these two idiots are arguing about a pretzel. And so we got done and we're like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Oh my God, that was great." And we're like, "Great, glad you had a good." And up we went and off we went. And that was the whole thing. And it was just
something we made up on the fly too.
It was just a small thing, that we did that affected someone's day. So, but it was completely unplanned. We started talking about it, just happened to notice, oh, there's that, she's over there. And it was just, so that it's knowing, it's, creating, when they say, in improv class is, creating your space. And so that's exactly what we did. We created a scene that she had no idea what was going on. She wasn't even a part of it.
And then we dragged her into it.
We drug her into it. And she sat there, and at the end of it, she was dying.
I will say that we ran that a couple of times, and there was one instance where it was, you guys aren't funny.
Yeah.
Because this person was just not about having it.
Yeah.
And that was, okay, well, thank you for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Try not to get arrested.
Right.
And then we were done.
Looks on everything, and off we go.
And off we went. So having the exit, seeing the exit point, that's you got to just follow it.
And every scene you do, you're not going to hit a home run on every scene.
Nope.
Sometimes you're going to hit a single. Sometimes you're going to hit a double. Out. And sometimes, like that one with Robin, they were like, they didn't care for it. So, all right, we exit the scene, we move on, we went to the next one.
And that is fine, because even One of the things that Keith and I tell our friends is fail forward.
Yes.
Okay, so you didn't get what you were looking for out of that one. What do you need to do to change it? How do you make it better?
Mm-hmm.
How do you make this so that next time it works?
Yeah.
Is it worth it to continue it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, some of the things that we do, we've done once.
Yeah.
And
We're like, yeah, that didn't work. It sounded better like in our head. We're like, hey, we should try this.
Because if you don't know, we share a brain cell.
Yeah, we had the idea, and the idea was really great. And then when we put it into motion, we realized, yeah, that just kind of went nowhere.
Yep. Yep.
It was a great start, but
fun.
then it just fizzled out.
It was fun. It was all right. No, we're good.
Yeah, let's not do that one again.
We're good.
But that's improv. So when you see, especially like when, you guys come through the gates and the people up on the parapet, or talking to you or whatever, 9 times out of 10, Rob and I, it's just happens to be how that person's walking, how they're talking, what they
they're
look
wearing.
like. It's a show in and amongst itself.
My favorite moment, Dave from accounting.
Dave from accounting.
That's one that we talk about. That they, what was it? 6 people come in. All 5 of them are dressed up like a classic D&D party. You had a cleric, you had a ranger, you had a thief, you had a sorcerer.
Yep.
You had a cleric, and then you had this dude that was in regular clothing.
Yeah, he was shorts and a shirt.
And so Keith and I called down and we're like, oh, well, one of you decided not to get dressed.
Yeah,
The rest of you look fabulous. And he goes, no, I'm Dave from accounting.
Yeah, it was great.
Lost it, dude. Lost
it.
Completely. And there's sometimes when the customer or the patron has that moment, let them take the win.
Yeah.
Because what are you going to say after that?
Nothing. And that's pretty much what we did. I was dying.
I was floored.
I was laughing so hard. I was like,
floored.
oh my God, that's so great.
But that's what you've got to know how to read the scene and just, okay, that's the natural flow. It's done there. We can move on.
Yeah.
Don't unfortunately we were on the parapet during that time frame, so we couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So what we did was we basically pulled the curtain down to end the scene by interacting with each other and ignoring them.
Yeah.
We ran into them later on and told them that was great, that was fun, and they were like, dude, you guys are awesome, blah, blah, blah. But that's how you let that end. Now, if you're in the streets, if you're in a position where you can get up and walk away, well, then walk away.
Yeah, that's obviously, you're being on cast as we are, Rob and I are never in the same spot for more than a couple minutes.
Unless we're waiting in line for scotch eggs and chutney.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's important.
Yeah, both of those things.
Yes. Find us, a route to take, we have our pre-planned routes that we take.
That we try not to deviate from because that hill sucks.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we got to go where the water's at.
Pretty much.
But yeah, it's improv in and of itself is just starting a conversation, continuing that conversation, ending a conversation.
You're saying,
all in a way that makes sense.
You're saying one word over and over again, and I love that you use it this way, and that is conversation.
Yeah.
Because when you put it in context of it's your character having a conversation with the customer or the patron or whatever, what have you, it is a conversation. It is not, I'm acting. No, you got to get out of that and just become the character. Become the character, live the character. Up at CRF, there's only a few people that are allowed to weave in and out of their characters. Thankfully, because of you guys, we're 2 of those people. Because you guys know us by our actual names, and you also know us by this, and you know us by our characters at the festival.
Yes.
So we're able to weave in and out, which kind of confuses the hell out of a lot of people,
Right.
to include us.
It's like, who are we talking to? I don't know.
Yeah, which voice am I hearing?
Right. I don't know. Hopefully not the one that hums. God, he's annoying. Let's see. This is what I
Am I in sync?
Yeah, pretty much, pretty close. But yeah, no, it's you know, and that's what I say. You know, we do conversational improv.
Yes.
You know, we're not going out there trying to make a joke. You know, which is
Shit,
what
half
what
the
we.
time it's just us looking like us, and that is the joke.
That is the joke.
Big English
but
dude,
they call look for
Chinese
the joke,
guy.
trying to hunt the funny.
Yeah.
You know, and
Let it
there's
happen
and there's
naturally.
nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely fine. That's just not personally what Rob and I do.
We prefer the natural interactions and things that progress, as we call it, organically.
Yeah, sometimes it leads to funny because someone says something that I can't pass up.
Or something happens and it's everybody else thinks it's funny, and we're caught looking at each other like, is that funny?
I didn't think that was funny.
Like, okay, thanks, have a nice day.
Yeah, cool.
So, just when you're if you really take it in context, like Keith was saying, as conversations that your character is having with just random people they're walking into at the village, it changes the dynamic of the way that you try to go about things. When you look at this in a real world perspective, yeah, sure, there are some people that have that naturally comedic bone.
Yeah.
But I promise you, they're not constantly thinking of one-liners or zingers
Yeah.
to throw out every single sentence. Those guys get really boring. It's kind of like that dude in the office that tells dad jokes
Yeah.
incessantly.
Yeah.
Like, you the first couple of times, you're like, haha, okay, great. And then by number 12, you're like, bro,
Dude, that's enough.
that's yeah, we're good. Thanks.
No, but I will say, the easiest way to practice, and this is what I've done in the past, to kind of brush up or practice or even start conversational improv, is talk to people in the grocery store.
Yep.
And I would walk up to random strangers. I'd see them looking at a shelf, and I'm like, oh, let me find a question. Have you used any of these brands before? What's your favorite? And they're going to go, oh, well, I like this one. Why? And they're going to tell you why they like it. Okay, we're keeping the conversation going. Oh, well, I've used this one before, and I like this one because of this. And then we start talking, and then we go, all right, cool. Well, yeah, I just saw you looking. I'm sorry, I don't want to take up too much of your time. There's my exit, and off down the aisle I go.
Yep.
And I did that with people, and everybody's like, you just talk to random strangers. And I said, well, yeah, but
yeah.
What do you think we do at Festival all day for 8 weekends? We talk to random strangers about nonsense.
So why not do it in your normal
Yeah.
day and then get the reps in?
Get your practice. It's the best thing, or really anywhere. I mean, it doesn't have to be a grocery store. Just anywhere. Find it.
My favorite is going to like Best Buy,
Yeah.
because you kind of the beauty of that kind of exercise is exactly the type of person, and you have the intel of, all right, I'm going into Best Buy. Obviously, I'm not going to be talking about melons.
Yes.
I'm talking about computers, televisions, appliances, phones, headphones, all the things that are tech related, which I will go in there and because I'm a photographer, I will turn around and I'll go up and talk to people randomly about, like, hey, what do you like to take pictures of?
Yeah.
And it's, again, it's having that conversation. Now, the cool thing about it is, immediately you will know when somebody starts to feel uncomfortable or if you said something wrong.
Yes.
Now, the even better part is you're never going to see that guy again.
Yeah.
Unless you go to that same place, and this is why I don't like the grocery store, because the odds are you're going to run into that same person again.
Generally. I do all the time, because I'll have people go, hey, how's it going? Hey, pretty good. And I've forgotten. I'm like,
Yeah, see, and that's I hate that.
I'm like,
I hate
great,
that.
hey.
I'm like, oh yeah, I talked to that person about, what did I talk to him about?
Yeah, what
last
did I
time?
do?
Fuck.
Shoot, I don't remember what I talked.
I
And
forgot.
then sometimes I'll think about it and be like, oh, I talked to them about tea. I don't drink tea. But it was just a conversation to start, like, hey, what have you had this brand before?
Yeah.
That backfired once on me because I saw someone looking at she was looking at tea, and so I was like, oh, and I do drink tea. I use the throat coat,
Yep.
And so she was kind of looking at that area, and so I said, oh, have you used any of these brands before? And she looked over at me. She goes, I have a boyfriend. And I was like, that wasn't the question.
So that inhibits you from using these brands.
Yeah, so I looked at her and I went, oh, well, okay. Well, does your boyfriend use any of these? And she's like, and she just kind of looked at me and I went, okay, this is going in a bad place.
So is your boyfriend pro or anti-tea?
Right. I was like, I was just trying to be, strike up a conversation.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're going to have that happen.
But unfortunately, that is.
But you'll have that happen at fair
yeah.
too. You know, I've tried to talk to people and they've just looked at me and walked up. Okay, cool. I didn't want to talk to you either, and just move on to the next person.
I'm waiting for my boyfriend.
Yeah. Oh,
his loss. He's not here.
Yeah. Well, I've been waiting on all day. I haven't found him yet either.
You're waiting for him. I got a bone to pick with that man.
Yeah. Right.
Where's he at?
Yeah.
That is so. When it comes down to it, how do you get better? You just get in the reps.
It's
just
practice.
doing the practice, getting repetitions, getting out of your head. That's what it really is because I remember my first year, I was so nervous about talking to people. And it was the dumbest thing in the world to me. Now that I look back at it, I'm like, well, fuck, man, they expect me to talk to them.
Yeah.
So why am I all wrapped up on, oh, well, I'm going to say something dumb? Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. But lean into it. Have fun with it. Say something dumb. One of our good friends plays Don Quixote.
Yes.
And Don Quixote, even the characterization of him in the books, he's a buffoon.
Oh, yeah.
And so he'll say some really weird stuff.
Yes.
But people like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the point is like maybe you say something that's weird, but they like it.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
In one of the greatest pieces of advice I got, it doesn't necessarily pertain to improv, but just in general. Improv, it certainly helps. Is listen to understand, don't listen to respond. Because you may miss what that person was trying to get across to you, and you're going to say something that they're going to go, well,
did you just make that up?
That's not what I meant.
You just made that up, didn't you?
What?
That you just made that up.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No? I was going to give you credit for it, too.
Oh, I mean, hold on, rewind.
Okay. Did you just make that up?
Absolutely, I did.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very
right
sage words.
Right off the top of my head, I did.
Sage words from a buffoon.
Right. Yeah. But no, I got that advice before, and it makes perfect sense, especially with what you and I do, is because if we're just waiting for them to say something so we can go into a canned response, it's not gonna work.
We've had this conversation before, though, where coming up with just canned responses, it gets boring.
It does.
It's not fun.
That's why I said we have our little bits that we do, but that's more of just more of a funny little thing.
Yeah, and
the Scots and
most of the time they're meant as openers.
Yeah,
that's what we have a concept of how to get you to stop, how to get you to stop and listen to what we are saying, because that's, to be realistic, as a Renaissance performer, that is the hardest thing, because everyone is, oh, I'm going to this show. Oh, I'm going to go over here. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, my kid wants to buy this. So getting people to stop is the hardest thing in the world.
Yeah.
So when we have our canned openers, or we'll do things, we'll say things because it worked. It worked multiple times. It gets people to stop. I mean, even the whole kilt thing. doesn't really get people to stop. Usually it elicits a chuckle, or someone will laugh, or someone may stop and respond. Most of the time it's just a drive-by. We're walking by, they're walking by, and it's just a quick exchange.
And that's all. And that's all we're really doing it
That's
for.
all
Is
it's
just
been
a
for.
chuckle
Yeah.
or whatever. I mean,
We're just trying to ease you into the, hey,
Yeah.
forget about the rest of the world. This is where we're at right now, And some of the things that we do, it can be very invasive for a customer. For example, when we go up and we just stand right next to somebody, someone might think that's invasive.
Yeah.
But at the same point in time, dude, you came into our playground.
Yeah.
We're going to play with you. If you don't want to play, you can just, no thank you,
So
and we'll walk away.
one of my little bits I did, and I haven't done it because it went off the rails, and I went,
God.
all right, I'm not going to do it again. But my very first year,
Oh, God.
is so walking down the main thoroughfare,
Uh-huh.
and right over by Steak on a Steak, they have the privies.
Yeah.
So the gentleman who was last in line, I walk up and I stand next to him. I'm like, is this line for the privy? He's like, yeah. I'm like, man, it sucks that you're the last in line. So look at all those people, and he kind of laughed. And he goes, yeah, that's really, and so we talked for a few seconds, and then the next guy walked up, and I was like, I tapped him and I was like, here, watch this. I got you. So I took a step back to the next guy and I went, sucks to be the last in line, huh? Look at all the people. Well, the guy in front of me knew what the joke was, so he started laughing. And I did it a couple times, and everybody kind of got in on the joke. And then I stopped doing it because the next guy that walked up just started going on this very vulgar diatribe about the fair, and I was like, okay, well, that's not really what we're trying to do. And so I haven't done it since then. I do it at my haunt all the time. Because it's funny there, but yeah, it was this running little bit that the next person walked up, and I'm like, here, I got you, and I take a step back. Sucks to be the last in line, huh? Because now that person that I originally talked to is like 4 or 5 people ahead, and he's like, yeah, it really sucks. But it was just a funny little bit, nothing other than just creating
You're
that
making a
moment
commentary on the situation.
yeah, just a funny little moment to have. Let's
the
everybody
one guy
lighten
just
up.
Took it the wrong way.
I know it's 95 degrees. It's hot.
It sucks. There's
You
no
gotta-
shade right here.
You got to go to the bathroom. There's a big line. I get it. But
Yeah.
let's have a little fun with the situation.
Sometimes you run into that, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you have some guys that, oh, well, we've run into this before where it's like, oh, well, I didn't know it was going to be so hot. Neither did we.
Yeah, no, but
We got no control over that.
look at the way I'm dressed.
Yeah. Or
Black was not a good choice for today.
oh, well, I wish they had more of this. Yeah.
Me too.
Me too. Or my favorite one. Man, they should do an adults only at night. No.
Yeah. With no power, with no lighting. Well, that's going to be good.
No.
Yeah, no, that's not going to work.
No.
One of my favorite things is I actually had to take someone down to first aid.
Okay.
And so I get them into first aid, and I said, well, while I'm here, I'm going to fill up my cup. So I filled up my cup, and I looked around. I'm like, all these poor people look miserable.
Yep.
And so I decided, well, why not talk to the people in first aid? So I spent probably 15, 20 minutes in there cracking, and intentionally trying to be funny, lighten the mood up in there, because they were just, And so it was just, that was a nice little captive audience,
Yeah.
and we all shared a moment, and off I went. And one of the people recognized me later on. They're like, oh, hey, hey, feeling better. Drinking the water now, aren't you? Yeah, we're drinking the water now.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a dumb mistake.
Yeah,
I should've-
So sometimes you get those moments.
Yeah.
Where you get to actually see people a second time, and they remember what you did.
It's weird because you and I run into that quite a bit.
We do.
Where because we're literally in the same circuit. We run the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We run the same circuit. There's very little deviation unless we're being asked to do something.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we do a little circle, and everywhere we stop, there's water, and we do the same routine. So sometimes we do run into people again, and I think the funniest one was last year when that one family that we ran into, poor guy was pushing the cart. He was pushing the wagon.
Yeah.
It was a wagon. He was pulling the wagon behind him, and there was 2 kids inside of it, and it was him and his wife. And his wife was, they were just looking miserable. The kids were hot. They were looking miserable, and we passed them, and we had a good interaction the first interaction. The second time we rolled through, and they waved at us and gave us that, and then the third time we walked through, and they crossed our paths again. And they were just beat down by the heat. And Keith looks at this man and he goes, do you want some help? And the guy, not even joking, the guy goes, oh God, that would be so amazing. So Keith looks at me and he goes, all right, Captain, you push, I'll pull. And we helped these guys up the road. And it was hilarious because the wife just looks at us and like, why, thank you guys. And as we're going, Keith and I are going on, here we are into forced labor. This is what happens when nobility gets in charge. And the guy was laughing, the mood lightened up, and it was neat, but we don't get that very often. And just having that one family, they were just like, hey! Or the grandma and the daughter that was celebrating the birthday.
Yeah.
You know, that was neat too.
That was awesome.
You know, we do have ways that we start interaction, but we also have ways that customers will start interactions with us. Mm-hmm. And we just kind of let it happen. If you ever are walking around and you're like, you know what, I'm bored, I'm gonna go fuck with Rascals. Bring it.
Come find us.
Bring it. We relish in the idea of entertaining you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can generally find us, 10:45 or so,
right around about the Scotch eggs,
right
Queen's
around
Pantry.
the Queen's Pantry. Yeah.
And then somewhere around about 12:30ish, we're yelling at people to get out of the way of the carriage.
Yeah.
That's probably not the best time to talk to us.
Yeah, no, not much for conversation at that point.
No, unless you want me yelling at you.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's so many different aspects. Bring out your dead. Oh wait, no, different.
Oh, we should do that.
Different thing.
We should do that.
I would love to do that.
We should do that.
Just once.
Get a cart and just push the cart up the hill.
That would be great.
Yeah. Make a big spectacle of it.
Yeah. We're gonna find a flat piece though. We're not going up the hill.
No, we just do it right there by the pavilion.
Yeah.
And then push it down towards the blacksmith and just veer off.
Yeah. Now
hear me out. This is an idea.
Okay.
All right, we use a wagon, so 4 wheels.
Right.
And we load Salzano into the wagon. He's the dead guy. And then when we get past the chapel, we just push him down the hill.
Oh, I like it. All right.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
He'll figure it out.
I don't know if he'll be able to stop.
Probably not. But yeah, no. I mean, so improv is what you make it.
Yes.
It's going to be as good or as bad.
Well, but not really bad.
As you can.
The only bad is if you're trying to flirt the lines with double entendre and you just go full on into it.
Yeah.
That's not what we do.
Play to your skill set.
Yeah, or play to your audience. You know, like there's certain times when we'll make inappropriate jokes that are not at the Renaissance Festival.
Yeah.
So at a Rascals event,
well, that's different. Yeah.
That's a different. We're working for different. A different rule set there. So, but play to your audience. Know what your audience is. Know what your boundaries are. And for God's sakes, if it sounds creepy in your head, it probably is creepy.
It's probably
creepy.
Say
it. Don't say it. It's not worth it, man.
Yeah. No.
It's how you get fires.
There's a lot of times where I've come up with something and I've looked at Rob and I went, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. And he's looking at me like, I know you got something. And I'm like, nope. I'm like,
yeah.
Well, wait a minute. And I'm like, all right, come over here.
Yeah.
And I'll tell him. And it's a great line.
It's great.
It is a great line.
Not appropriate.
I've killed it. But yeah, not for fair.
No, not appropriate. Not appropriate at all. So, just as a recap, what we're talking about as far as the pie.
The pie.
The pie. It's all a circle.
It is.
All right? It all feeds into itself. And you want to make sure that you are well versed in how to start a scene, how to keep the scene going, but most of all, how to exit the scene.
Yeah.
Sometimes things are done and then it just lingers.
Yeah.
And you don't want that. You want to take that exit ramp as soon as you can.
That kind of uncomfortable silence.
Yeah.
When neither you nor the person you're talking to really know what to say, and you end up just looking at them.
Unless that's the bit.
Yeah. Right.
Unless that's the bit.
Like, that's kind of like, when I walk up and I just stand next to someone.
Yeah. If that's the bit.
That's my bit. That is
Yeah.
the whole thing. I'm waiting for them to acknowledge me. And then if they don't, then finally I'll be like, oh, hello. What? Can I help you? Oh, I saw you standing in line, and I'm a big fan of lines. So, why, what is this one for? And you just start up the conversation. Iced coffee, or, Scotch egg, or I'm getting a turkey leg. Oh, they have those here. Oh, it's fantastic. Thank you for buying me one. And they're like, wait, no, I'm not buying you one. Oh, I'm so hungry. And, all right, fine, I'll go get my own. And off I go. And then just leave them bewildered. Like,
sometimes that's.
who was that fat guy?
Who was that fat man? No one knows. Only the shadow knows.
Only the shadow knows. And it's a big shadow.
It's a huge bitch.
It's a huge shadow.
Oh, but get in the reps. Trust in your partner, and most of all, when it comes to improv, especially if you're working with a partner,
Yeah.
you have got to spend time with them.
Practice, practice, practice.
Spend time with them, and the way that you build trust is through repetition.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Sometimes, like Keith and I have ways that you can tell from an inflection from me, and then he jumps in, or vice versa, or there's the all-telling.
Yeah.
The I'm turning to look at you now. But it's improv is more than just one person. Don't go on a monologue or a diatribe of just yelling at somebody and steamrolling, because then it's not really improv. You have this canned thing that you are trying to do that doesn't make a lot of sense to anybody that's watching.
Yeah.
Instead, create the scene, let the person respond. As much as the truth behind it is listen to understand, not to respond. Speak, not to be heard, but to be responded to.
Correct.
That's the truth of it. Last year during rehearsals, I got yelled at, and I was like, all right, great, what am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah.
And I just let the scene die because there was nothing that was to be done about it.
Yeah.
If you want to play, you got to play, and you got to play right.
There's rules.
Yes. Rule number one.
Rule number one.
I was waiting for you.
Oh, yeah. Wash your pits.
Rule number two.
Wash all the other cracks and crevices.
Family friendly.
Yeah, what cracks and crevices?
All right. Rule number three.
Feet. Take care of them.
I see where this is going. Rule number four.
Brush your teeth.
Okay. Rule number five.
Find an out.
That worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Made no sense, but it worked.
No, not at all.
So yeah, we want to make sure that as you guys are getting ready for the season, as you're getting ready for your auditions, bear in mind, it's a conversation. You're just part of a scene, and you're reacting the way that your character would react to the information that is presented in front of them.
Right.
Don't be afraid to accept somebody else's input that could possibly alter or expand the scene. Allow that to happen. Most importantly, no one person is in control of the scene.
No, it's like the old saying, takes two to tango.
Sometimes 4 or 5.
I believe that's a circle dance.
Can we make it a line dance?
No.
It's electric.
Abs-
Boogie, boogie, boogie.
Oh, you're Filipino showing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Unashamedly.
God, I hate that song.
You can't
Don't.
hide it.
So if you're looking to be
It's
a co-host
electric.
of a podcast,
I told you.
we have an
fire
opening.
me. You can't fire me.
I'm not going to fire you. I'm demoting you.
No, you can't demote me. I have all the equipment.
It doesn't-
I'm the one that knows how to run it.
I'll figure it out.
No, you won't.
No.
No, you won't.
If anyone has experience running,
Oh, by the way, since we're talking about experience and auditions and improv,
yes.
if you're in the mood or in the market, if you will, to become a baroness.
Now I've already
See how I
been
brought
married.
that back?
I've already been married.
Yeah, but there's like I got 7 more personalities.
Yeah, this is true.
You got 7
Just don't
more.
marry the one that hums.
Well, maybe we should. Maybe we should. Maybe we should marry that one to a drummer.
Oh, that might be good.
Yeah,
Yeah, all right.
because then you got the.
Boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats. I don't know why I'm humming 50 songs, but yeah, whatever.
That's a great song.
I like that song.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no.
I can't hit that note.
No,
I'm
no,
not even gonna try.
no.
That'll hurt.
We gotta break it down.
Yeah. We should do that. And just like randomly walk up to people and start just humming,
Oh,
like just random songs.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll put that in the hopper.
You're next. Well, that's been this episode,
Of course.
episode 8,
Episode 8,
Improv Pi,
Improv Pi.
which is still going to confuse people because they're going to look at that over there. They're going to go, it's not March 14th.
Right. Improv Pie. Get you a slice.
Ooh, I like
Oh,
that.
like it, don't you? Yeah. that one I just came up with.
Yeah, that one shows.
Absolutely.
Well, it's been fun, friends,
Oh, this has been fun.
but we've got to go.
We do.
I don't know where we're going. Crazy.
Off the rails on the crazy train.
There you go. There you go.
I can't sing like Ozzy, so that's what you got.
Oh no, that's way
Yeah.
way above. I'm a tenor, dude. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
it's not
soprano, dude. That's soprano.
That's yeah. Not,
Soprano with some falsetto. That's way above mine.
and drug-fueled rage.
Oh wait, so that's all it takes to be a good singer?
Ask Ozzy. I don't know. Well, don't ask him. He probably doesn't remember.
Sharon! Sharon! All right, that's enough.
All right.
We'll see you guys next
Goodbye,
time.
friends.
Goodbye. Tschüss, auf Wiedersehen. Ching Tao Te.